think it would be hard if they were both the same. We'd like do this a lot. Instead, we're just kind of, he makes me laugh when I'm all tightly wound. And
So would you say like opposites attract?
in this instance, yeah, absolutely.
I'd say it's just easier to get along with you. Just period. It's like opposites attract in a way.
I think having some differences is something that is also refreshing at times and keeps kind of a checks and balances kind of thing.
In situations where we come to each other for help, it's like we wouldn't consider those situations that the other one comes up with, and then that helps us like get through things together.
The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or MBTI for short, was developed by Catherine Cook Briggs and her daughter, Isabel Briggs Myers, taking inspiration from what is called as Jung's theory of psychological types. Carl Gustav Jung was a psychological analyst from the 20th century, and he was the one who originally proposed the extroverted, introverted, judging, and prospecting aspects. Catherine and Isabel took Jung's theory and developed these four-letter acronyms, and we now use them to learn about ourselves and how we think what we think, feel what we feel, and do what we do. The first letter represents how we interact with our environment. The letter E stands for extroverted. The opposite of this letter is I, which stands for introverted. Extroverted means that an individual prefers being in groups and is energized by social interactions, while introverted individuals prefer doing things alone and are tired out by social interactions. The second letter represents where we direct our mental energy. The letter S stands for observant. The opposite of this letter is N, which stands for intuitive. Observant refers to those who are highly practical, analytical, and focus on what is happening and what has already happened. Intuitive refers to those who are very imaginative, curious, and focus on what will happen or things that have hidden meanings. The third letter represents how we think about our decisions and cope with events. The letter T stands for thinking. The opposite of this letter is F, which stands for feeling. Thinking individuals choose logic and rationality over emotions and tend to hide their emotions, while feeling individuals are sensitive, expressive, and more empathetic. The fourth letter represents how we enforce our decisions and our approach to planning. The letter J stands for judging. The opposite of this letter is P, which stands for prospecting. Judging refers to those who are highly organized, decisive, and desire structure. Prospecting refers to those who are very flexible, spontaneous, and desire keeping their options open. There also happens to be a fifth letter, and this fifth letter represents how confident we are in the aspects of ourselves and our decisions and abilities. The letter A stands for assertive. The opposite of this letter is T, which stands for turbulent. Assertive means that an individual is self-assured and resistant to stress, not worrying about pushing themselves too hard. Turbulent means that an individual is self-conscious and sensitive to stress, desiring improvements of themselves and even perfection. When I took the test, I got ENFP, the campaigner. I got 65% extroverted, 74% intuitive, 83% feeling, 78% prospecting, and 72% turbulent. According to my profile, the ENFP is a free spirit who enjoys social, emotional connections with others, using their creativity and imagination, and finding deeper meanings in their everyday life. The strengths of my personality type include curious, energetic and enthusiastic, excellent communicators, know how to relax, and very friendly. The weaknesses of my personality type include poor practical skills, find it difficult to focus, overthink things, get stressed easily, highly emotional, and independent to a fault. When I first read the explanations of each, I was stunned on how accurate a lot of them were. My results have always gotten me curious on what the personality types of the people around me are. I decided to interview 4 of the closest people to me: my dad, my mom, my brother, and my best friend. I asked each of them questions about their respective MBTI personality type that they received from the 12-minute online test created by 16personalities.com.
So, Dad, as an INFP, you're an idealist who enjoys self-expression, having few but close friends, and is always searching for the good in even the worst of people. The strengths of your personality say that you are idealistic, seek value and harmony, open-minded and flexible, very creative, passionate and energetic, and dedicated and hardworking. Do you think that portrays you pretty well?
I definitely do. Many different facets of life show those characteristics in different ways, but I definitely agree with the basis.
The weaknesses of your personality say that you are too idealistic, too altruistic, impractical, take things personally, dislike dealing with data, and difficult to get to know. Would you say that fits you pretty well?
Oh, absolutely, and probably since they're looked at as negative qualities even by myself, those tend to stand out more to me, so I can definitely say I experience and have been a part of that, yes.
Mom is ESTJ-A, the complete opposite personality to yours in every single category. How do you think this affects how you two interact?
In many interesting ways. I think it can be good and bad. I mean, you like to have a spouse in particular agree with you on some things, but if they agreed with you on everything, I think that would be kind of blah. So I think having some differences is something that is also refreshing at times and keeps kind of a checks and balances kind of thing.
So would you say that opposites attract?
I mean, that's to put a romanticist term on that. I'm sure there's plenty of cases both ways. I think it still depends on individuals more so than just a category.
But would you say that it opposites attract in this case with like you and Mom?
I mean, I guess to a certain extent. I don't know that it's a defining thing for us, but it does play a role, I would think, yes.
Mom. As an ESTJ, you are a leader who enforces order and honesty, provides factual evidence and logic to situations, and enjoys bringing together a group of people with the efficiency of an army. The strengths of your personality say that you are dedicated, strong-willed, direct and honest, loyal, patient, and reliable, enjoy creating order, and an excellent organizer. The weaknesses of your personality say that you are inflexible and stubborn, uncomfortable with unconventional situations, judgmental, too focused on social status, difficult to relax, and have difficulty expressing emotion. Do you think that this test accurately portrays your strengths, weaknesses, and your overall personality?
Yeah, actually, it does. Now, the thing that you mentioned as a strength is patience, and I really don't have any. And I don't, as a weakness in social status, I really don't care about that. But everything else, it's pretty much spot on.
Your personality title is called the executive. Do you agree with that title?
Well, when I think of executive, I think of like a high-paced, high-salary, high-stress job, and I really don't think that's what I have, but I think it's just me. Like, that's just the way I am. Just tightly wound.
Would you say that if you were able to have a job like that, do you think you would thrive?
Well, I did. And when I was in banking, I did. I worked a lot. I worked hard. I made a lot of money. But as I got older, my priorities changed. Yes.
You had kids.
I had kids.
Your fourth letter is J for judging, and the percentage you got for that aspect is 100%. What do you think that says about you? Is there a reason as to why you are 0% prospecting?
For me, in my world, there's no gray. It's either black or white. I don't do well with gray whatsoever. Decisions are decisions, and you stick with them.
All right. So Dad is INFP-T, the complete opposite personality to yours. How do you think this affects how you two interact?
It's kind of like puzzle pieces fitting together or yin and yang. It's just we each have our strengths and weaknesses, and it just works. I don't know. It would be hard if they were both the same. We'd like do this a lot. Instead, we're just kind of, he makes me laugh when I'm all tightly wound. And
So would you say like opposites attract?
in this instance, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Trevor, as an ISTJ, you are a practicalist who aims to be productive and get projects completed, enjoys working with data and analyzing their surroundings, and loathes dishonesty and laziness. The strengths of your personality say that you are honest and direct, strong-willed and dutiful, very responsible, calm and practical, create and enforce order, and a jack of all trades. Your weaknesses of your personality say that you're stubborn, insensitive, always by the book, judgmental, and often unreasonably blame themselves. Do you think that this test has accurately portrayed you and your strengths, weaknesses, and overall personality?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Are there any that like stuck out to you when I read them?
Only the weakness of like being insensitive, but only on some occasions.
Your fifth letter is A for assertive, but percentage-wise, you were 54% assertive and 46% turbulent. Why do you think that category was almost split 50-50?
I'd say it's kind of because of kind of both of our parents kind of share like the opposites of those traits. I mean, I want things to get done perfectly, don't get me wrong, but it's like I'm not going to force myself to do it perfect every time, especially if I've got other things to do, so I'm not going to focus on it.
I am ENFP-T,
Yep.
the complete opposite of you in every aspect of our personalities. How do you think that affects how we interact?
Well, considering most of my friends probably fall under a similar category to you, I'd say it's just easier to get along with you. Just period, 'cause like opposites attract in a way.
That comes to our next question. Do you think, or do you feel that you get along better with certain personality types, and if so, which ones?
Most people that are extroverted, I just find them easier to talk to, which is kind of obvious. It's kind of hard to just talk to introverts. I mean, I prefer for people to be more like logic about their stuff, but I mean, I'll take it or leave it. I don't really care either way.
So you got entertainer, which is ESFP, and the strengths of this personality type are bold, original, aesthetics and showmanship, practical, observant, and excellent people skills. The weaknesses of this personality type are sensitive, conflict averse, easily bored, poor long-term planners, unfocused.
That is me. the cons mainly.
So are there any like you want to talk about?
What I don't know if I'm bold. Well,
You like to do your own thing, that's how I see like the boldness in you kind of is just like you doing your own thing. So you are ESFP-T. That means that we only have one letter different. How do you think that affects our relationship knowing that we have one letter different?
I think, well, knowing that we have like 3 of the same letters, I feel like that makes us like more compatible as friends. Like we're closer because of that, because we can like understand the way that we feel about certain situations, but then there's still that one letter that we're not the same on. So I feel like that's just, it's what makes us good friends, like close friends, because it's like we're not completely similar, and there's things that we can like, I feel like a lot of the time in situations where we come to each other for help, it's like we wouldn't consider those situations that the other one comes up with, and then that helps us like get through things together.
Would you say opposites attract?
See, it's so weird because we've like been friends for so long that we've changed together. So like we've been at a time where I feel like we've been super similar, then we've been at a time where we've been super like opposite. So I think there's pros and cons to both. Like I don't think it's like down, like you guys are not the same, like you're opposite, so that means you guys are gonna be best friends.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's like you guys are exactly the same, you're gonna be best friends. It's a pro that like we're not exactly the same.
After all of this research and making all of my friends take their personality test, it fails to amaze me how close my friends and family can be despite how much each of us differ from one another. Just because someone is the same or opposite personality than you doesn't mean you can't get along. It also doesn't mean that you're the same person. We all differ from each other with our hobbies, interests, how we grew up, and the way we still grow.
So we only have one letter that's different. Do you think? Shut up, Mom. As an so I am ENF. I don't know. Apparently. Be serious. Let me actually make this easier for myself instead of making it complicated. It's fine.
Edit it out. It's fine. Can we go again?
You can leave.
Namaste.
It's not. I don't think that's how it's used.
Here, let's watch this.